Hello and welcome to Reggie's Recess, where you get real talk, of course, about real relationships. I am your host, C. Reg, renowned relationship coach, author, radio host, and television host. And every week I do my best to provide you with great guests and provocative topics. I'm not going to let you down this week, of course. I've got a great guest for you this week, and we've got a provocative topic again this week. You know, the first day of April, they always say April Fool. That's what they do on the first day of April. So I wanted to take that theme and carry it for the rest of the month. So this month, our topic is don't be fooled. Okay. We don't want you to be fooled in your relationships. We don't want you to be fooled in your encounters and this new word that everybody is using in your entanglements. Don't be fooled. We want you to be aware so that you are awakened. And so today we're going to talk about not being fooled, but being aware and awakened. And I believe I've got a great person. I know I've got a great person who's going to open up some of Pandora's box for us. She's going to share with us so that we have what we call a delightful dialogue, a delicious dialogue. And we're going to talk about that today. And today, my guest on Reggie's Recess is none other than Audra Nicole. She's my guest today. And we'll learn more about her, what she does. And I'm so excited to have her. So after this commercial, we're going to come back and we're going to have our guest and we're going to get this party started on Reggie's Recess.
Hi, I'm Ernest L. Thomas from the Waldens, and you need to download the Win Network app now, or else it's gonna be tragic. Tragic!
So if you have not downloaded the Win Network yet, please do so. Go to www.wynnetwork. That's the Win, like the Win Hotel here in Las Vegas, the Win Network. Download that. You can catch me Monday through Friday on the Win Network at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But you'll also be able to catch great movies, great talk shows, just family television, whatever you want. It's there on the Win Network. It's a 24/7 channel, and you would be wise to download it if you have not done that yet. I'm going to also show you a movie later, a clip. We're going to show a promo, a trailer later today on our show. You'll see a new movie coming out by the Win. It's produced by the Win Network. It's in theaters now. And it's about a relationship coach. You'll see that. So stay tuned. We'll show you that later. And I'm going to also give you a number that you can call us if you want to share with us. Those of you that are watching us live, you can call us at 702-350-9063 as we get into this dialogue. It's 702-350-9063. So my guest today is Audra Nicole. She's a motivational speaker, empowerment coach, spiritual seeker, authenticity, and boundaries expert. Okay, so we know what motivational speaker is. We know what empowerment coach is. We know what a spiritual seeker is. But what is an authenticity and boundaries expert, Audra? What is that?
That means that I have spent my time doing the dirty work of learning about my own authenticity and boundaries in all of the uncomfortable ways that so many of us spend so much time avoiding, so that I can help others get to their higher levels of bliss as well, because that is absolutely paramount to healthy relationships and joyous living.
So I'm introducing to some and I'm presenting to others. As you already heard her, she helps you to unclutter your closet. That's what she does. And she's excellent at it. So Audra, before we get going today, let me just say thank you for being on Reggie's Recess. I'm
You're
excited
welcome.
to have you as a guest. How are you?
Oh, Reggie, I am so good. It is so awesome and exciting to be here with you. I always love our conversations.
Yes, we always have those delightful, delicious dialogues. And so I was excited to have you as well today. I want you to inhale and then I need you to exhale. Okay. We can really get into it, Audra. So let's talk about We typically hear this phrase in spiritual circles when they talk about waking up or having this spiritual awakening. Those are buzz phrases that we will hear in our spiritual gatherings in our communities that are spiritual. But I want to know, what does it mean to you to be awakened?
That's a great question, Reggie. When I think about that awakeningness that so many groups speak to, for me, a great word that we could replace that with that has more meaning for me would be remembrance. So, what do I mean by remembrance? I mean that we come into this world fully remembering our own unique divinity, our own access to things greater than ourselves, to the unseen world, to that sixth sense. We can feel things, we can know things, we have a connection to God, spirit, source, whatever your word is. We're connected. We know things, we're guided, we know we're loved, we know we're supported, and we know what's in our best interests. However, unfortunately, in our society, that gets programmed out of us. So that awakening really is about the remembrance of our own divinity and our access to intelligence within ourselves, within our bodies, within our hearts, within our minds, that permanent and consistent access to what is for our highest and best, which is how we can help ourselves not be fooled.
Wow, you listen, we just started and you already going there. Come on, Audra, we just got going, and I'm glad I told us to inhale and exhale first because you've already taken us there. So let me be clear, because when I talk about awakening, this is one of the things that I feel, and I think I know it's really what you said, because to me a genuine awakening causes us as individuals to recognize that much of what we previously thought or
Mm,
understood was quite limited or partial. So,
yes,
what I'm hearing you
absolutely.
say is we go back and we remember where, why, and what it is that we're here for, our purpose.
Yes.
So, I think you said something about a pattern. That was good, because we developed this pattern, right? As we create this so-called image, we develop this
Mm,
pattern. What do you think? I want to
mhm.
hear what you have to say, because I know you can take that and run with it probably from now until tomorrow. But we'll let you go.
So creating a pattern, well, we get stuck in a conditioning, and
Yeah,
we don't know for so long that there is something else. It's not our parents' fault. They did the best they could, but the love that we were taught growing up was truly conditional. If you do this, I'm happy. If you don't do that, I'm mad. I give you the silent treatment. You go to your room, like all of these things, which to a child means you're not loved.
yeah.
So we grow up with this conditional love and we interpret that. So we learn to play these games, to dance the way we think we need to dance, to be loved. And that's how we show up in the world. And then unfortunately, we've got the media coming at us from every direction, telling us what's good, what's successful, what's beautiful, what's healthy, all of these things. And all the while telling us at the same time that we don't know in our heart of hearts what's true, really
Wow.
teaching us to ignore what feels sexy for me, what feels fun for me, what is success to me. And that's where it comes down to authenticity, boundaries, and when we can really remember our truth. That's when we have such greater access to living our bliss on a daily basis.
Remembering our truth. Wow. You use this word condition. I want to ask you, because condition versus position. I think a lot
Mm,
of times we come born and we understand we play this role and get into position, and then it equates to being in a certain condition. um and
sure.
in this redevelopment and thinking and getting outside this box so that we go beyond what others are doing and the position that others are made, or the role that they may be playing. Ours is something that is just authentically tailored for us, because it's not about how others do it. It's what's authentically
Mhm.
tailored for you. What's being
Yes.
spoken to you?
Yes.
How do we get out of that condition, change the position, and become purposeful in our life
Mm.
and how we live? What do you
Yes.
think about that?
No, I think you've nailed it. I mean, I think that's exactly what it is. It's about repositioning ourselves. But
Yeah.
how do we reposition ourselves? So we can't reposition ourselves into our authentic position, into our authentic course, if we can't pause and do a little inner work to distinguish what of who I be today is who I truly am versus who either A, I think I need to be, or B, someone told me I was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we got to put that down, and then we can have access to the information about who we truly be. And that takes practice.
Yeah.
It takes practice to live authentically, to be willing to speak your truth and be your truth and show up as who you are. And in order to do that in a sustainable fashion, you have to cultivate circles and places and people that you can practice that safely with. Because I think that's the biggest challenge I see clients having is we have these friends that we've had for so long, right? And we have what we have in common with them. Maybe we work together, maybe we went to school together, maybe we grew up together. But if we're really interested in shifting, in awakening, and entering that place of remembrance, those people that we surround ourselves with on a daily basis, if they're not committed to that as well, it can be really hard to share conversations, to share what you're going through, and to practice that authenticity. So that's I've found the biggest challenge that people have is creating that safe space and those relationships to do that with. This reminds me of this amazing meme that I just saw this week where it's two little wolf puppies, and one of them is like biting the nose of the other one like this. And it says, when I go to make friends, I just show up extra weird sometimes because if they stay, then I know they're real.
That's
Right. And
good.
that to me just totally sums it up. Right. When you can just play full out and be your weirdness and then people stay, those are your people.
Yeah, because they're not there to cast or to pass judgment. They can
Mm.
accept you for being your authentic self and not
Yeah.
try to get you to be in this box. So when I say to you, Audra, when I say
Well,
don't,
can we pause real quick right there, Reggie? Because
yeah, yeah,
before we move on to the next question. So
yeah,
the key element to that relationship building and to that remembrance is about honor.
honor. Okay,
Honor. So it's for the self work, it's about honoring our own truth. That's how we work with our authenticity and our boundaries, is honoring our truth. And any healthy relationship has to have at its core honor of who we each be, right? That's
understanding who you be, honor. So
honor.
so so now, would you also use the word? There's like this word that's it's called reverential, or having reverence. Would you consider that the same as honor? Have some reverence for yourself, respect that, and that honor that comes with the reverential respect that you see in yourself. Would you say that applies?
Sure, yeah. I mean, reverence is deep respect. So,
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. So, I think
yeah.
that, for me, and maybe it's just me. I haven't asked Webster recently what the definition of honor is. But for me, when I think of honor versus respect for me can sometimes come from obligation.
Okay,
Maybe you respect your boss, maybe you respect
okay,
your parent, even though maybe you don't necessarily like them or honor them.
okay.
To me, honor and respect are two different things because honor comes. Oh, this is an interesting distinction. So for me, the difference between honor is respect with appreciation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
instead of saying the two things, I say honor.
Okay. Okay. I like it. And I think a great place to start, those of you that are listening to us, I was speaking in California this weekend, and I don't know, it just got downloaded as I was talking, and right, it just perfectly fit in the moment
Yep.
where I was. And one of the things that I did say, DMX had just died earlier that day, and a song just popped in my head as I'm speaking to the crowd. Sometimes you just got to stop, drop, shut it down, and reopen up shop.
Mm.
And
Yes.
that was one of DMX's
Yes.
biggest songs. So
Love that song. Love that
sometimes,
song.
we have to stop, drop, shut it down, and then reopen up shop. And this is a good place to start. Is what Audra's talking about. Honor yourself. If you're not at that place, hey, stop, drop, shut it down. And then
Yes.
come on, let's move forward. And then we can reopen up shop, with a different mindset, with a different viewpoint, with a different perspective,
From a different
change
position.
from a different position, because we've changed the condition.
Yep.
You see?
Yep. 100%.
Okay, so can I go to the next?
Please. Please
Have
proceed,
we?
Reggie.
When I say, Audra, don't be fooled,
Mm.
and we're talking about this awakening, there's so many layers to that, to me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
let me tell you why there's so many layers. Because it's a process, and not only it's a process that involves many awarenesses, many
Okay.
conversions, and many painful confrontations.
What is?
The process of awakening.
Mm.
You know,
Yep.
what
Agree.
would you? You agree? And is there anything
Mhm.
you would like to add to that? I'm sure you can. I know you will. I know you're
Yeah.
able. Go ahead.
Yeah. So looking at not being fooled, right, and entering that space of
Yeah,
remembrance, the most painful truth about not being fooled is that no one can fool us but us.
good.
And that's can be really, really hard to swallow. I know for myself, there have been times where he absolutely fooled me. No, no, honey, he didn't. He was him all along. And you
You
knew in
just
your
didn't want
heart
to
of
see it,
hearts,
and you didn't
you
want to
were
see it.
unwilling to be authentic. You were unwilling to honor your own personal boundaries, let alone communicate them, let alone act in support of them. So here you are, fooled, which is really
Supposedly.
just the disheartening place of missing the mark. You just end up somewhere you didn't think you wanted to end up. You said you didn't want to end up, but you also weren't willing to do the work to not end up there. On one side of the coin. On the other
Yes.
side of the coin, sometimes we can do everything that our heart tells us to do. We can follow it all to the best of our abilities. We can be connected. We can see the truth. We can be authentic. We can honor our boundaries. And then something happens. And it still feels like we got fooled. So it's like, what the heck, man? I did it. I did the work. I spoke my truth. I had the hard conversations. What's up? So in those moments, we get to remember that there is a divine intelligence operating. And if we're willing to be honest enough with ourselves and allow the process to unfold, there always comes a moment when we can look back and see how that fooledness was exactly what you needed for a certain set of events to unfold, to get you somewhere else, which is a much better place than you anticipated.
And you still changed positions.
Mm-hmm.
You got out of that condition.
Mm-hmm.
And it came with a layer that involved awareness.
Mm.
That now you became, not only were you awakened through going through the process of being fooled, but now you have some awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And not
yeah.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just thinking, one of the key elements for me when we talk about this whole not being fooled thing, it's just really, we have it in our minds. And I'm guessing this is an American cultural thing. I don't know enough about enough cultures to know if it's better anywhere else, but it feels like a cultural thing, which is to say that we do all of this work to avoid pain, to avoid failure, to avoid being fooled. And we really shorthand ourselves when we do that, because so much of the gifts, of the gold, of the gems that come from life came out of all of that pain. So
Mm,
whenever we try to like overprotect our children, or maybe we love someone so much we make a decision on their behalf, that no, that's when we're saying that we know better than God, source, spirit, whatever the divine is. We're saying, no, 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 they don't know what they're doing. There's no divine intelligence unfolding. I got this. I'm going to make
yeah.
these executive decisions. I know what's best. And we end up hurting ourselves or delaying processes. I know for myself, one of my, not one of my, my greatest heartbreak was devastating at the time. I would have done almost anything to have avoided that pain at that time. And I felt fooled. I felt like it came out of left field. Um, but I'm so grateful looking back now. Wow, that breakup was one of the greatest gifts of my life, and I just have such appreciation for him because, I believed that he and I had some kind of soul contract before we
Mm,
got here, where we were going to have this deep, phenomenal, out of this world love, and only a love that deep could devastate me that much, which was the power and the force that I needed to catapult my life in an entirely new direction.
so that's pretty. Only a love that deep could devastate that much. That's pretty powerful. So, do you
Mhm.
believe the depth of the
Yes.
love has a lot to do with the depth of the revelation that you get moving forward to help to help proceed into purpose?
If you're willing to be open to it, I do believe that, yes. But it takes a willingness.
Yeah, because there's so much revealing and unveiling. There's so much that begins to and during the conversion process, if you're willing, as you're being
Mhm.
converted in what we call transformed into, because transform is not but just changed from. And so as we're
Mhm.
going through that process, um, a lot is being unveiled. Are we gonna are we gonna listen? Are we gonna take heed? There's there's a lot of signals that we could pay attention to, a lot of signs that we can
Mhm.
receive, a lot of um, assessments that we take this inventory and take an assessment of where we are, where we want to go, how are we gonna do it, and so much can.
Yes. Hold on one second. Okay. So so what comes up most for me in that is if we come back to awaken, right? If we think of awake in the simplest of terms, we think of like what, our eyes open, our eyes closed, right? We sleep at night. How do you know if someone's awake or asleep in that sense, right? You look at their eyes. Are they open? Are they closed? Can they see? Can they not see? And all of that work that you're talking about requires a willingness to look and to see, which requires a level of awake or willing to be awake, right? The Matrix didn't really have it that wrong.
No, as we get further along in our journey, Audra, we really see the value of the matrix and what it represented and how it really plays a significant role in our daily lives now. It
So
didn't have it
true.
wrong, you
So
know.
true. Mhm.
We
Mhm.
get that understanding, and to some degree, the matrix was somewhat prophetic, if you want to look at it as such.
I agree.
Um, I want to ask you this. So, how does being
Yes.
an empowerment coach and spiritual teacher help you with the awakening?
Because the ultimate student is the teacher.
Mm, the ultimate student is the
is
teacher.
the teacher. You
Because
can't lead someone anywhere you're not willing to go yourself. So in order to teach and in order to support others, I have to have done the work myself, and I have to have been willing. And it's one thing to do the work and to experience the things, but you have to really take it to a next level of embodiment if you're going to support someone else in that journey and in that experience.
pretty powerful, pretty powerful. Okay, so we have those that are watching us today live on Facebook, and we certainly appreciate you that are watching us live on Facebook today. And I appreciate those who tune in every week to watch us. And then there will be those who will listen to us on 87.9 Heat FM Charlotte tonight. And then there will be some who will watch us on the Win Network. So we're gonna cover all bases. We're gonna cover social media, we're gonna cover radio, and we're gonna cover TV. Okay.
All right,
So
let's do it.
what would you say to someone who's listening that feels like they've been fooled for too long and need to experience an awakening? Tell them how they can live their individual bliss.
Whoa, there were like 5 questions in there. All right, let's take it from the top. What was the first 7 words you said about?
The first 7. What would you say to someone who is listening? What would you say to someone who is listening?
What was the next part?
That feels like they might be, they may have been fooled for too long, and they need to experience an awakening.
Okay, let's do that. They've been fooled. They feel like they've been fooled for too long, and they want to experience an awakening.
Correct.
Okay? So the first step is to get real honest with themselves and find out how willing they are to be awakened to the truth. Right? Because that age-old saying, the truth will set you free, but first it's going to piss you off, is very true. So if you're only after sunshine, roses, and rainbows, you can't do it. You can't wake up. So you have to get real with yourself and find out how willing you are to wake up.
Okay, so question
yeah.
right there. So once they become real with themselves, you said it's going to be, so that's the painful confrontation that they may have to go through and experience, but they have to get beyond or get past confronting themselves and being honest and being candid.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah.
It's about taking responsibility, because it's like, I've been fooled for too long. Okay, well, if that's the frame you're operating from, then you're still looking to blame someone else instead of looking inside and saying, okay, I feel fooled, so let me do the work of saying, where am I fooling myself?
Yeah. Okay. I like. So you have to have a conversation, an honest conversation with yourself. But I want to go back to a word you used earlier in our conversation. You have to have an honest conversation with yourself, but in doing so, you have to get to a place where you honor yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? So those of you that are listening, have an honest conversation with yourself, but get to that place where you can actually honor yourself, because when you honor yourself, you value yourself.
Right. And in order to get to that place of honor, there's a necessity to admit some truth. So if you can admit that truth to someone close to you, if you have some safe, loving relationships, that would be ideal, But if you don't have that, if you don't have someone that you can speak your truth to, you can start by journaling, by telling yourself, this isn't working for me. This doesn't feel good. I don't like this. I don't want this. I'm angry about this. I'm hurt about that. Unfortunately, I work a lot, not unfortunately this part. I work a lot mostly with women, but they're a big challenge for a lot of women in this society. And yes, I'm using a generality. This doesn't apply to every woman by any means, but a big thing in this culture is women are taught and raised that what they want doesn't matter.
Wow.
It's what their children want and need. It's what their spouses want and need. It's what their elderly parents want and need. It's what everyone else wants and needs. And we're supposed to look cute and smile and be sexy and be kind and be sweet and all of these things. And creating that space to unlock the true feminine power, the part that the media doesn't like to remind us is that feminine power is mighty and loud and ferocious. Yes, the femininity is soft and nurturing and
That's right.
receptive, but it is also a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, it is. You just,
And
you just gained about 10,000 followers just on that right there. You got
just
women
tell
saying
the
yes,
truth. Just
yes.
tell the truth.
You got these women saying yes.
Yeah.
But I agree. You guys are very ferocious,
Mm-hmm.
and the power that you possess as a woman. Sometimes I think sometimes you underestimate it. There are a lot of women that underestimate their own powers,
Of course,
and you
they've been conditioned to underestimate it.
conditioned. That's
They've been
right.
told by the I don't mean to
Right.
get political, but we've been conditioned by the patriarchy that women are weak, which is not true.
No, no, no.
I
Women they're not weak. I think women have there's a spirit that you guys have. It's called meekness, but
mm,
meekness is by no means is weakness.
mm-mm,
And I love the meekness of a woman. That's very attractive. But women are not weak by no
mm-mm.
means.
And we have to remember, in order to get into this awakening,
Yeah.
when you awaken to this place of remembrance, you're actually birthing a new experience, that new position. And when we think about birth, we think about, oh, the sweet, happy baby is born, but you need to remember the hours of screaming and pain and mess. Birth
Mhm.
is messy, and it can be very painful. And that is the part that we don't talk about, because we like to talk about the sunshine and the roses and all the easy stuff. But we have to honor the messy, the ferocious, the screaming, the yelling, the crying. That is
Yeah.
part of the beautiful process that brings something new and phenomenal into the world.
There's one word you left out of there, the craving, because you go through some unusual cravings during that
Sure,
process
sure.
too. And
Yeah.
so you crave things that you otherwise may not have craved, and then you want to consume that. And for you it sounds good in your mind, and then after you consume it, it feels good to you, palatable for you and everything. So there are a lot of changes that you go through
Mhm.
while the birthing process is taking place.
That comes back to honor, what you're saying, honoring those cravings. What is it that what does my body need in this moment? What does my soul need in this moment? What does my spirit need in this moment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You've said so much, and you told me I needed to break that one question down. I think I think within all of what you've spoken and what you said, that last part of that question was tell them how they can live their bliss, but you've pretty much said it. They got to be willing to go through the process, and it is a process, but they have to confront it and be and honor themselves, but being true to themselves, right? I mean, you pretty
Yeah,
much
living your bliss
articulated that.
is really about, honestly, the simplest way to express it is honor.
Yeah.
And it's just been beaten out of us. I was working with a client just the other day and really helping her embrace and honor herself. And it really comes down to those teeny tiny, tiny, tiny baby steps. I've got 10 minutes before I got to pick up the kids. Do I eat? Do I rest? Do I read? Do I change my clothes? What do I do with this 10 minutes? What does my body, what does my soul want? So often we don't pause in that 10 minutes. Instead, we just rush forward. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I should do this. I should do that, right? We're shooting all over ourselves. And then we're wondering why our life's such a stinky mess. We
Mm.
didn't pause and
Hey.
honor. The more we can honor those teeny tiny moments, the greater our life is authentically in tune with our highest and best, which just unlocks our bliss infinitely.
Well, you all that are listening, there's two DMX songs that I can pull from this as I pay homage and respect to
Mhm.
DMX. Either y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, or you can stop, drop, shut it down, and reopen up shop. That's what she said. Just take the time, and
Mhm.
pay honor. Stop, drop, shut it down. Sometimes you got to go through that process, and it really, really works. Audra, you've been so much fun. We've got to go. I got to get you back extremely, very, very, very soon. Um, let people know. I know you got a lot going on. You got a lot on your plate. Let people
I
know
do.
how they can find you. You got
Sure.
retreats happening. Tell them what's going on.
Yeah, the best place to get the information is my website, let'saskaudra.com. And that is in the process of being out. Lots of exciting things, but anything important will be available there at let'saskaudra.com. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at I am Audra Nicole. And you can find Audra Nicole on Facebook as well. Just make sure you remember that it's the French Nicole. So it's Nichole.
Just the way that it's spelled there, you all. You see that Audra, Audra, Nichole. That's Audra Nicole. Now, listen, I want to take you to a trailer that is about a relationship coach, but he has an unorthodox way of being a relationship coach. Now, this movie is out now. It actually premiered last week. It opened up in theaters in LA. But you can also go to the Win Network and you can get the movie times for John Wynn's Playhouse. I want you to watch this trailer, and we will be back right after this.
Yeah.
It's so nice in here. I am ready, okay? I know this is supposed to be about therapy, but this is about to be a nice little getaway.
May I have your attention, please?
This is the retreat I was telling you about. I could teach you a few things.
Oh, hell yeah.
You are all very blessed to be having your therapy sessions conducted here by Dr. Williams.
I am Dr. John Williams. Welcome to the Playhouse. You're going to experience some things over the next couple of days that are going to be mind-boggling. But you will never leave the same.
What's so special about the playroom?
Some say it's haunted.
It's weird with this presence.
What kind of doctor are you?
This is a healing session, and you're going to leave this place free.
Wow, that looks like you need to go and download that. Go to the Win Network, WYNNNETWORK. That's the Win Network. And the movie is called John Wynn's Playhouse. You will thank me for asking you to go there. You will thank me for suggesting this to you because it is awesome. And I'm so grateful that I'm a part of the Win Network. And again, you can watch us every day on the Win Network, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They're doing an amazing job over at the Win Network. I know you guys are familiar with Hulu and some of the others, Netflix, but the Win Network has everything that they have. And so if you're not familiar with it, you will be. So tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell someone to download John Wynn's Playhouse. And then I'd like to hear your comments. DM me, shoot me a message or something. Let me know what you thought about it. So many people last week said, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it." Those of you who've seen it already, I'd like to hear your comments about the Playhouse. Now, I want to give you an opportunity as well to be a sponsor, one of our sponsors. There, as you see, we have different sponsorship levels that you can come in and be a sponsor. for See Reggie Rogers, where you get Reggie's Recess, Real Talk, Real Relationships. And so the different levels I just want to share with you, because in 2019, we did what we called the One Man Woman Tour, and we felt it was very epic. We felt it was life changing. We felt that we were able to impact women, and particularly in terms of being informative, being entertaining, being educational, but being empowering. And of course, 2020 came, so everything we shut down in 2020. But we want to give you a piece of 2019 and the One Man Woman Tour, and you'll help us to get back out, do what we like to do, and maybe come to a city near you. And you could be a sponsor. And one of the levels as a sponsor is called our silver level, and that's for $100. You'll get a One Man Woman T-shirt at the $100 level, which is a silver level. And then at the gold level, which is a $250 level, you'll get a One Man Woman Tour baseball hat plus a T-shirt for $250 level. That's the gold level. But then we have the platinum level, which is a gift of $500. You'll get a One Man Woman baseball hat. You'll get a One Man Woman T-shirt. You'll also get one of my books and a workbook. So you choose the level. We'd love to have you be a sponsorship partner with us. Help us to achieve what you do for others. Will also help you get done what you need to do for yourself. You can go to www.cregi, R-E-G-I, Rogers, just like it's spelled right there, cregi.rogers.com. Okay, and there, select one of the sponsorship levels and help us to continue to give real talk about real relationships. I wanted to, I want to thank, Audra, who was our guest, and she touched on so much. And we hope that you were enlightened as it relates to the awakening. But the awakening is related to, but distinct from, enlightenment. And I think a lot of times enlightenment becomes a state of being in complete alignment with all that is. And in enlightenment, you go beyond all duality, beyond all space, all time, to experience the fullness of the universe in both form and beyond form, or in the Buddhist term is parlance, which means emptiness. So this is a space of non-judgment, where the paradoxes between relative and universal truths are understood and resolved. In this state, you are connected with all of life in a state of total and unconditional love. So enlightenment requires awakening, but awakening does not necessarily result in enlightenment. So the awakening is a process, not an event, and each person's path to awakening is unique. And I think that's one of the things that Audra was talking about. You have to get to a place where you honor yourself, but your path may be different than someone else's path, because each person's path to awakening is a very unique situation. So you cannot force another person to awaken. You have to get to that place where you decide enough is enough. This is it. I'm ready. I want to do this, because another person cannot force another person to be awakened. Each person is on their own path to awakening. And I just wanted to share that. I wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was very, very important, that we have that understanding about awakening. And Audra did just an amazing job in shedding the light in regards to awakening. If you want to call us, please, we've got a little bit of time left, but if you want to give us a call, don't hesitate. You can give us a call at 702-350-9063. Again, that's 702-350-9063. You'll be able to catch us tonight on 87.9 Heat FM Charlotte. You'll be able to catch us on the WIN Network. That's WYNNNETWORK, winnetwork.com. If you don't have that app, download that app. We're there Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And those of you that are watching us today by way of Facebook Live, let me tell you how much I appreciate you. I hope you're liking this. I hope you're sharing this. And to my understanding, we're also on YouTube as well. So I hope you're liking what you're seeing, and please consider taking on one of those sponsorship levels. And I'm just going to give you that website one more time. That's www.cregirogers, just the way you see it spelled there, cregirogers.com, and just tap on the link that says sponsorship. Every little bit helps. It helps us to continue to do what we love to do, and helps us to continue to provide you with information where you continue to get real talk about real relationship. It's almost time for me to go, but before I go, I need to send some shouts out. I want to send some shouts out to our super producer, Steven Sebo. This is another action shot production. If you need websites, well, he doesn't do websites, but if you need videos, documentaries, even movies, we've got a new movie we're working around the clock to get out. It's a documentary. We've been talking about it, but we're working around the clock to make sure we get this documentary out. That's going to be an action shot production, connoisseur entertainment as well. So if you want a documentary done, don't hesitate. Look up Action Shot Productions. Video done, look up Action Shot Productions. If you want a movie done, look up Action Shot Productions. And commercial, you name it, Action Shot Productions, we can do it. That's Steven Sebo. He's a super producer. So Steven, thank you for producing Regi's Recess. And as I get ready to close, I want to say this. The spiritual path ultimately is awakening to our minds and the world we have constructed based on inaccurate beliefs. Our eyes and minds often deceive us when they tell us what the world looks like. So I close with this. Don't be fooled. Understand the awakening. Be awakened and be aware. I've got to go. I'll be back next week. Thank you so much for your time and sharing with us on midday every Wednesday, where you'll get Regi's Recess, real talk, real relationships. You guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you next week.